let's get back to something that this show has highlighted in this network. And it's one, you've heard me mention his name before, the self-admitted criminal mob associate, Jimmy Rodriguez. And we're going to mention who he is, right? So obviously he was the owner of Jimmy's Bronx Cafe. He was at one point the manager, creator of Sofrito in the Bronx, where a lot of Michigas went on there, but it was allegedly on paper owned by the, at the time, police commissioner's brother, Richard Caban. We don't know how the hell this place stayed open, but the police department was known to have frequented this place many times. I'm talking about high-end executives from who's now he's the Bronx chief there, Benjamin Gurley. You had Raul Stevenson, Manhattan North chief right now. Martin Monterosso, the chief for training. At that time, you had people like Jeffrey Madry, obviously Eddie Caban. You had Wendy Garcia. You have all these people. The list could go on. And they all violate that one rule, right? What's that rule? You can't wrongfully or knowingly associate with someone who's reasonably believed to have engaged in or likely to have engaged in criminal activity. If you associate with Jimmy in your police department, he most definitely falls underneath this procedure. And that was a picture of Sobro Garden, which is now what the new venture of Jimmy. But we're going to get to what happened at that place. Something did occur at Sobro Garden, by the way. So I'm building up to it. So people like Letitia James, he's a friend of Letitia James, by the way. He's attorney general. She was always at this con Sofrito. Darcel Clark, the Bronx district attorney. The who's who of the political sphere in the Democrat Party show up there. So obviously, if you are tied to these people, you got carte blanche. You got not only carte blanche in the city, you probably have carte blanche all over the police department because, you know, when little old Sal Greco is accused of being around a political consultant and there's no crimes being occurred, well, your consultant friend was arrested and pardoned, but is a criminal. You're done. That's essentially what they did to me. I can tell you right now, there's a female, okay, that was in the paper recently, and she was terminated, and not for these pictures. They said that she, they actually, somebody wrongfully posted that she sent to someone she was involved with in the NYPD, but it's for criminal association. Yet that case is very flimsy, and John Scola got on the show. I'll probably have him back on to discuss that whole issue there. But they are still terminating people saying, criminal association, that guy has a record. Oh, he was arrested in 1950. And I can tell you from my own case right now, the NYPD cannot define what criminal association is, what knowingly is, what reasonably believed to have engaged in is. They cannot define this. There's no training on this. It's just, well, I don't like this guy. He's a criminal. I think he's a criminal. Therefore, I'm going to railroad him. But by definition, what we write there would fall under Jimmy. Why? Jimmy is a self-admitted criminal. You could read up on this guy all over the place. He's numerous interviews this guy's given. He lays out his arrests. Also, he's a mob associate. John Panisi from Sit Down News brings this up, how this happened. But before I even show you this, because the morning of this incident, here's Jimmy going to a podcast. It's Honey German. Okay. This is 105.1 on FM. This is our podcast. You can see in the background her flyer. Let's just play this one part because remember, the NYPD shouldn't be associated with him, correct? Because we already established that he's a self-admitted criminal mob associate who has been arrested in the past and has all this mishigas at his place, whether it's Jimmy's Cafe, Con Sofrito, Don Coqui, this new place, which I'm about to lay out some stuff on you with. But let's hear it from Jimmy himself.
Like harass us? Because, it's always been harassment with the police department. It's always them and us. And I have nothing against the police because I would tell you, I probably have more police friends in this world right now in my life than I've ever had in my life. So it's not about police. It's just the mentality the cops have when they come and approach us as a community. they're not taught to like relate to us.
Oh, so they don't relate to him, but apparently he's good friends. You heard that? Good friends. Oh, what? Eddie Caban? Well, like who? Joe Ayala, who's running the Hispanic Society. Why is he being investigated, by the way, for associating with this guy? He's all over the place with him. So he himself, insane right there, he's friends with the police. So how does this rule work where you associate with someone reasonably believed to have likely to engage in criminal activity? He's right there. And if you think he changed his ways because the patrol guy, the NYPD patrol guy that states this rule says now that if you try to change your ways or there's determining factors that they try to like alter this rule and say that, oh, well, if you were a criminal but now change your ways, it's okay. There's an incident, not only con Sofrito, there's an incident that occurred at Sobro Gardens this weekend. I'm going to give you the rundown because before I play this, at 1:40 a.m., a victim was stabbed at Sobro Gardens. That's where he is, right in the 40th precinct. That said victim was stabbed in the neck and shoulder. I'm not saying this as a rumor. It's a fact. This individual was stabbed and was bleeding from their neck and shoulders, running from this place, calling 911, screaming that this individual was being chased. This individual was found in the middle of the highway, bleeding. And then eventually the NYPD found this victim in front of the Dunkin' Donuts, bleeding from the neck, the face, all over the place, and was taken at Lincoln Hospital. The backstory is that this incident happened in this place, but the gentleman was, like I said, chased or whatever it is out of the place or taken to this area where he was. And it was the people that hang out at Sobro. So Jimmy's friends? Jimmy, does he know these people? Are they police officers? Are they off-duty police? Are they executives? And, of course, this was going up to the highest of sources. So you know that the Bronx chief there, Gurley, who's good buddies with him, he had to be notified of this, of course. But let's play the video of what happened because out of this whole event, then I guess they have a skirmish with Jimmy. And here, right in that circle, there he is with his white shirt on. See the police officers? He's in handcuffs. He's in handcuffs. And what was being said was, he's telling them over and over again, you don't know who I am. And he refused to give these officers video in regards to whatever occurred in and outside his place. And you got to wonder why. Because why? Is it because somebody he knows did something? Is he involved himself? Or were they police officials involved in this that frequent there? And of course, if they're even there, it's an off-duty incident. So that would be a major problem. And here's another video of him being escorted straight into the department vehicle. So, with all of this being said, there's many ways this could be handled and there's many questions. Number one, did they violate his rights? Because apparently he only got a summons. Sounds like something that would happen in an incident like this, especially if someone like this who's friends with Letitia James, and we already know that there was human trafficking at his other place that was reported, and we don't know what happened there because it was like a trail that ran cold. She's always at that place, though. And Darcel Clark, who's the district attorney there. But you see an incident like this, he only got a summons. So why would he get a summons if that's all that happened there? He got in a police officer's face. He said, you know who I am. I don't know if he put, if he did anything else there, but that's what's being said right now. So they could have violated his rights, actually, by bringing him in to question him or do anything and then just issue a summons. There should have been avoided arrest, but I think there's probably more to the story. Secondarily, are there any executives or off-duty police officers in this place when this is going on, because that's an investigation. Of course, internal affairs, as you know, never do their job in a police department, as you learned with John McCarr and Eric Dim, who have made complaints to them over MOS, that's members of service, threatening them online, and this guy threatening them as well. They did nothing. And, yeah, he's also a friend of Fat Joe's right on the screen. There's something Fat Joe said about Jimmy. So there's questions here, right? And they asked for this tape, this video. Of course, this video he refused to give, and that's his prerogative. But again, the police department could go get a subpoena, or you go to the legal bureau and you get that nuisance abatement order. You try to, you put that in, and you could have him closed. And he should not have an SLA license. I don't care who he has on there. Last time he had Richard Caban on there. Okay. And then I'll give you another one. This place, allegedly, from what I understand, has no gas. So they're serving food, bringing it from a completely different location. And that's the one in Castle Hill that he has. It's not open. He's involved in this stuff. I don't know if he's the real owner. All I know is, what the hell is the police department doing with this individual? And if the police department or any politician continues to speak highly of this person or associate with this person, your entire procedures of why you are judging other police officers, Martin Matarazzo, why you are judging other police officers and dishing out discipline while you are buddies with this person, and we clearly looks like you're covering for this guy, whether it was in the 90s, the 2000s, 2010s, now. That is a hypocritical thing to do, and a criminal association should be wiped out. We're going to continue to report on anything that goes on here with this incident. There's not one article about it. There's nothing written about it. So it's almost as if we, in the media there in New York City, we cannot write about this because it's like writing about John Gotti. What? Or what? We're worried about the chief that gives you an exclusive, and he won't give you one anymore if you mention Jimmy Rodriguez's place that they're hanging out at and doing God knows what. Because what really is going on here? What is the police department's fascination with this individual's places? It's really mind-boggling. But now you know there was a stabbing that took place in and around this place over the weekend, and you didn't hear one peep. But, of course, I have all the details here. Very disturbing, and the media really should get their act together. So but we'll continue looking into this one. I'm sure there'll be more coming up. But remember, if you're a police officer, be careful if you hang out with someone that had a parking ticket in 1950, because they could then fire you saying you associate with a criminal. But, hey, don't look at them, because they can't even define what the hell criminal association is. To be continued.